storyline that no one prepared me for. The blurb on the back did not prepare me. Oh, great. We're looking at Libby's scoot in the background now. Libby, can you not do that? It's very rude. Oh dear. Hi guys, it is April from Getting Hookah With It. Today I'm here to chat about the books that I've read so far this year that quite frankly I should have DNF'd. I didn't love them. I just like powered through. And you know when you're powering through and you're like, maybe it'll get to the other side and it'll be better. And then you get to the end and you're like, no, that was not for me. Those are the books I'm chatting about with you today, so let's get into it. So I have 5 books that I sadly just worked my way through in a really determined way and then got to the end and was like, ow. Sadly I didn't love them and I wish that I had just put them down when I started to have doubts. You know that little inkling in your brain when you're reading a book and you're like, oh, it's just, this is bothering me, this is bothering me. And then you just continue. I don't know why I do this to myself, especially when one of my goals for 2019, as per every year really, is to like just DNF it, just be brave and pick something else up. I'm not always perfect at that. So we'll start with number 1, which is a bit of a booktube darling, particularly over in the UK. Everybody and the dogs seem to have loved The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry, I believe. I just didn't enjoy it that much. This follows a woman whose husband was not so nice. He dies. She is relieved. They have a child together and she moves to this small town in England where there is a report of this Essex Serpent, a serpent in the waters. This town is kind of terrified of it and she wants to find out, you know, if it really exists. She's very science-minded and much of this community is more religious-based. And so it is this interesting exploration of religion versus science. I have never loved that kind of storyline, the religious versus science theme. I just don't find it fascinating to me. So it just didn't draw me in, and I had really wanted the son who's like been, you know, completely transported from like having a dad to leaving his home and moving to this new place. I wanted them to follow him a bit more, and he's in it sporadically, but I thought he was going to have a much bigger presence and he didn't, and I needed him to, and it just wasn't, it sadly wasn't for me. But because so many booktubers had loved it, like I think this was one of Simon's most loved books from, I think, 2017. It might have been his favorite book from 2017. And that was the real reason that I picked it up. I love Simon and I still love Simon. But I guess I just thought, like, I gotta keep going because it's gonna get so good, and then it just didn't for me. It's hard. It's hard. Another book that I really wish I had DNF'd it. I'm kind of angry with myself that I didn't. And it's The Huntress by Kate Quinn. I had read her first book, The Alice Network, and there were bits and pieces of it that drove me a little insane. There were repeated words. It was about a woman who was pregnant when she was young and everybody wanted her to get an abortion or give it up for adoption, and she would refer to the baby as the little problem, like constantly in an annoying way. This had that kind of stuff too in it, and I didn't really love the main character. I wasn't really in love with any of the characters. I just didn't care. I didn't care. It didn't draw me in, and it should have. The Huntress is about it takes place after World War II is finished, and we follow these Nazi hunters who were trying to track down one woman, the Huntress, and we follow them, and then we also follow this girl who her mother had passed away, her father remarries, and he remarries this woman that she's just like not sure about. And what the biggest thing that I struggled with was we're trying to track down this Huntress, this evil German woman who, you know, caused havoc and killed people in World War II. But honestly, I forgot most of the time what she had done. And the whole point of this is we got to catch this horrific woman. And I would be like, but why again? I don't remember. And it seemed to be mostly stemming around one person that she killed. And I'm like, really, is that worth it if she didn't kill a bunch of other people like many, you know, Nazi SS officers did? Like, why are we following this woman in particular? I just didn't care if she was caught or not. I didn't care about her. Ugh, just no. Why did I finish that? Why? I don't know. Another book I kind of felt similarly with was Dead Woman Walking. It's a thriller about a group of people who go on a hot air balloon ride. They witness a man killing a girl on the grounds below them, realize basically simultaneously their hot air balloon ride is coming to an end because it's about to crash. And he sees them, of course, and he's on the hunt. There's only one survivor from this crash of the hot air balloon, and he's hunting her. I just loved that premise. What I hated was this whole detective storyline that no one prepared me for. The blurb on the back did not prepare me for it, and I was very angry when it showed up. And it wasn't interesting at all. The whole time I was like, what is happening? So I did finally kind of start flipping through and not like fully investing my mind in reading it. But I really should have just put it down. I should have just put it down. This one shocked me that when I was creating this list that it was up there on it. It's Coptown by Karen Slaughter. I love Karen Slaughter so much. This follows a group of cops in Atlanta, I think in the 70s or 80s. Incredibly racist team of cops. Racist, homophobic, misogynistic, unbelievable, over the top. We follow two women who are detectives and are, you know, witnessing a lot and experiencing a lot of misogyny and sexual harassment, quite honestly. And there is someone killing the cops in Coptown. I was so annoyed by the cops, like annoyed, disgusted by the cops, that I just wanted them to die, if I'm being honest. I was that, like, it was that terrible. Like, they were that horrific. They shouldn't have been cops. And they were like power hungry, and I just didn't like any of them. And so the whole point of the book is trying to catch this cop killer. And I was just like, but why? I didn't care. And in the end, I really don't remember who the cop killer was. It just didn't sit well with me. I didn't feel good reading it. Felt really uncomfortable reading it. And then to get to the end and be like, that was it? Yeah, I should have DNF'd that one. Finally is an Amy Tan, The Valley of Amazement. This book is about a mother who has a brothel, basically, and she is separated from her daughter at one point, and her daughter becomes a prostitute, not by choice, but she has to. And it is about their storylines together at the beginning, and then separately. We really follow the daughter separately, and you find out whether or not they are ever reunited. This was just way too long to me. It was way too long. There were too many love interests in this. I was bored a lot of the time, and it was truly was just too long, and I kept being like I cared about the characters, but by the end of it I was just like, okay, I'm good for it to be done. And when we do meet the mother again later on in the book, I didn't care about her at all, because it had been so long since I had seen her, because she's at the beginning and then you don't really see her again until very, very late. I just didn't care about her anymore, and I couldn't really remember why we were supposed to care about her, and it just didn't work for me, and I wished that I had stopped and read something else instead. Oh, I feel bad sometimes saying these things, but there are those books that just aren't for you. They might be for somebody else, but they're just not for you. Let me know in the comments below if you've had this happen to you before. I'm sure you have. I feel like this might be a universal problem for readers. But if you've had that happen this year, where there was a book where you're like, I'm going to power through, and then you got to the end, you're like, why did I power through? I want to know what that book was for you. And I hope that you're doing well. This was I need to go and relax or something and read something really good after that, because I was ranty there a little bit. I hope you're doing well. I'll talk with you soon. Bye, guys.